I love my coffee first thing in the morning. Good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy CowboyJobu, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. Because without you guys, well, this just doesn't work. And welcome to the Don't Sleep on the Dallas Cowboys report. Because literally, you cannot sleep on the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, seriously. I go to bed, find out something happened in the middle of the night or late in the night and everything else, so you can't sleep on the Dallas Cowboys. And as always, the Dallas Cowboys ended up making a late signing, their first in free agency, Joe Thomas. No, we're not talking Joe Thomas from the Cleveland Browns, the tackle boy. We could use that guy. No, Joe Thomas, who was formerly here in Dallas on the practice squad in 2015. Joe Thomas, who's been with the Green Bay Packers and in 2016 had a phenomenal year, 70 tackles and a half sack, where he ended up playing pretty much every snap. 17, not so much. Basically had 14 tackles and a half sack last year. Definitely a guy that we need for depth on the team, definitely for special teams and so on. But definitely, I don't think the guy that we need ultimately in the middle. However, I will say this much. Sometimes you have signings of guys that you don't think much of. You think it's kind of ho-hum and everything else. But when they get to another system, work with a different coach, that sometimes these guys shine. When George Selvey was signed from the Cowboys, who had literally been on 4 teams in 4 seasons and had 3 sacks to his name, nobody said, oh, great, we got George Selvey. But George Selvey was turned into an 8-sack guy under Rod Marnelli. I'll give you another one. When we signed practice squad David Irving from the Kansas City Chiefs, nobody said, oh, great, we got David Irving. He's going to get 8 sacks. Yeah. Nobody thought that. So before you condemn a signing of a guy, let's give them an opportunity to see what they do in our system with the people around them, with the coaching staff that we have. You might be surprised by some of them. That's not to say that everybody is going to be a winner. But here I think is the philosophy of the Dallas Cowboys. At some point, you get sick and tired of a situation. And as painful as it may be, you have to work your way out of that situation. And that situation is the salary cap. The Dallas Cowboys have forever been in salary cap hell. You can do what you want, even though you're in salary cap problems. But the problem is you're literally just kicking the can down the road. You're just borrowing from the future. And that's where we are right now. Going into this offseason, we were in better shape than usual because usually we were about $25 million over the cap and have to gut the team to get under or restructure. This year, at least we started out with $18 million, which, basically that's a $40 million swing. Still, not much money. Because by the time we put the franchise tag on DeMarcus Lawrence, that's $17 million, did the second round tender to David Irving, that was the end of the cash. But typically what the Dallas Cowboys will do is they'll keep restructuring. And they could restructure contracts to the point of getting about $36 million. And they could go out and sign a bunch of big-name free agents. And although you look at the team and say, you're not that far away. You were 9-7 in a bad year. A piece here, a piece there, a piece there. You might be able to make a run. But I think the Dallas Cowboys brass has gotten to the point of saying, you know what, we're going to have to bite the bullet. We're going to have to just get what we can get without trying to mortgage the future. Because if they follow along with that, if they don't restructure everybody's contract, kicking the money down the road, say Dez Bryant, you could restructure his contract and put more money down the road. You get rid of this year the $9 million of Tony Romo's final payment. You lose Demontre Moore's $2 million. You lose Benson Moa's $1 million. You lose Nolan Carroll's $2 million. That's $14 million in dead money right there. Boom. That's gone. Instead of taking that $1.4 million you could get today for Orlando Scandrick, you make him a June 1st cut where you're going to get $3 million, which means that's a little bit more money you can use to sign your rookies and things. And they may end up using that tool of that June 1st cut for some other guys to try and start getting back to having cap space. So we may not like it as fans. We may want to see him sign a Sue who is still out there. But the reality is the Dallas Cowboys, I think, have just said, enough. We're not doing this anymore. We'll bite the bullet, go with what we've got, and get our budget straight. Because then, come next year, there's some guys you can say we can let go that won't hurt so much. And then you've got money. You've got a young quarterback in Zeke Elliott that you're going to have to pay. So I'm thinking that that's the thinking of the Cowboys, which is why we didn't do much the first week. In fact, we did nothing until now. So don't expect a whole lot of change here with the team. It's going to be bargain basement shopping as usual and putting their hopes on the draft, and they're going to need a good draft. Now, Alan Hurns was here yesterday with the Cowboys. There were some fake tweets out there that were kind of put out there. Ian Rappaport supposedly said he signed, it's probably a fake account, signed for a 3-year, $20 million deal. That was a hoax. There were some rumors that Alan Hurns did some tweets. I couldn't actually find the tweets they were talking about. But he did post an Instagram video of First Stop Dallas. And so we assume that he's going to visit some other teams as well. He has not signed with the team, but you never know. He may end up checking out the Jets and looking at their quarterback situation and their team situation and might say, you know what, if all things are equal with money, I can be at the Cowboys, higher profile, maybe better quarterback, so on, and can be more of a focal point. But we'll see what happens with that one. But as it stands right now, there is nothing intimate about a signing for him. Like I said, Sue is still unclaimed out there. He's probably the biggest free agent that is left on the market, and don't count on him being here in Dallas. Although most experts are saying instead of looking for money, look for your opportunity to try and get that ring, because Lord knows he's been paid a heck of a lot of money. And in other news, Johnny Manziel. Johnny will actually be throwing today at San Diego's Pro Day, and it'll be interesting to see what he actually has left. Now, supposedly, he's been clean. He's in rehab. He was itching to get back on an NFL team and everything else, and I wish him the best. I just don't want that guy on my team. Whew. Now, one thing I must say besides I need to let the dogs out is Dez Bryant. I know a lot of you guys are sick and tired of me talking about the Dez Bryant situation, but technically, hold on. Sorry, somebody had to let the dogs out. But we talk about the Dez Bryant situation because it's really key to the season, because it's going to shape the way this team goes direction-wise. It's going to either be we keep him and we're working to change the offense that's going to be better suited between Dak and Dez getting together. We go in another direction, end up bringing other people in, maybe change the offense suited better for those talents, and or we end up looking at filling gaps elsewhere. So it's still not resolved by the Dallas Cowboys. And from what I'm hearing, they actually haven't really met yet. And with the Cowboys looking at a guy like Sammy Watkins and bringing in other wide receivers, clearly we can see there's a focus in on wide receivers. Now, that may be a plan to be around Dez Bryant or maybe a plan to replace Dez Bryant. Either way, it's still something that's very, very important. Now, I know a lot of you guys are out there now commenting and saying that I am just a clickbait artist and I'm just an idiot. My haircut stinks. What's the deal with the damn doll? You know what? You are welcome to have your own opinions. And you don't have to like me. And that's good. I'm fine with that. However, this channel, I'm going to do what I want to do because it is my channel. And you as a fan, if you don't like what I do, there are plenty of other places to go. I hope that people enjoy what I do. But if you don't, it's okay. There's plenty of other places to go with content that may be more skewed toward exactly what you're looking for. Like I said, I try very hard to try and make sure I bring the best news and so forth with the Cowboys to you guys. Some of the stuff ends up panning out, some of it doesn't. That's just the way it is. But it is what it is. But something was interesting said by Steve Smith when we go back to Dez Bryant. What he said he noticed is that Dez basically does 3 routes. And I'm not saying that's because Dez Bryant can't do the other routes. I don't know. It may be that that's all the offense is, because people always talk about the Dallas Cowboys offense being very simplistic, that there's not a lot of variance. But if you're telling me that Dez is only running 3 routes, the push hitch, the jump ball, and the go slant, it's pretty predictable. It's pretty easy to figure out where he's going to go from the first couple of steps off the line of scrimmage. And that's on the coaching staff, because if the coaching staff is not using him in other ways and being less predictable, because in the NFL, if we know what you're doing, we can stop you, then the team needs to change up what they're doing. And Dez Bryant is working with a route coach to get better and crisper on his routes and things. So he's feeling the pressure and he's trying to do something about that. So hopefully, in the end, all of these moves or lack of moves for the Cowboys will be better for the long haul and the betterment of this team. Because right now we keep looking at our team that literally is in salary cap hell year after year after year, is not challenging for Super Bowls. Yet teams that are never having the issues that we have of whether or not to keep an overpriced veteran, whether or not to have to restructure contracts year after year after year, are challenging for Super Bowls. And at some point you have to say, what we're doing isn't working, we need to go in another direction. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if we hear anything about Alan Hurns. I think he would be a great pickup for the team, but thus far, there's nothing. So as always, friends, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, this just doesn't work. And I will see you guys soon.
Hello, friends. Cowboy Jobu here with an unsolicited opinion on the Jobu wings. You were saying about the wings?
The wings are the best I've ever had. Hands down. Awesome.
Okay, well, we've been passing out our recipe. If you actually look on our YouTube channel, we have all the recipes for all this stuff on here.
With the women, with the ladies.
You know that. Okay, slide in a little bit here. Okay, all right, so on 3. Jay, get in there, man. Okay, we're gonna do How About Them Cowboys. Okay, all right, everybody, on 3, it's How About Them Cowboys. 1, 2, 3.
How about them Cowboys?